Shambho Shambhakara. Remember, friends, having attending all these classes under this channel, that there are sublime shastras of the greatest order, like the Upanishads, the Gitas, with Bhashya, with Yoga Vaashishtha Maharamayana. Just gather this information and also feel that these texts are the ones which have all the power and capacity to liberate if we allow them through our genuine, serious, sincere study, understanding, and consistent practice. If this happens as our regular study result, I believe that our studies are fruitful. Once it enters into intellect about the glory of these Shastras and you are convinced about it, nobody need tell us and nobody can stop us from becoming sincere day by day to deeply and fully involve in the study and sadhana, not like now. Now we want to, only want tak hai hamara, but we are not sufficiently thoughtful as to how to fulfill this want of growing through the study of Shastras. If we are thoughtful, we know how our times are spent, how we are wasting all that, how to pull away from it. All these outer and inner maturities will come. Once we decide that through this Shastra, Shravana, Dhyana, Manana, Chintana, Sadhana, we want to evolve spiritually. Before all that happens, that such texts are there. As a human being, we can study them. And you don't see anywhere in our Purana Itihasa that the Devatas are studying Shastras. They are busy in the Bhoga, that the Rakshasas are studying in Shastras. They are busy in troubling others. The Pashu Pakshis are studying the Shastras. They cannot. You see, it is only human beings who can do. Therefore, if you want it, I can say must do for your choice, by your choice. But then, all said and done, even if 2-3% we are able to understand of these Shastras, the garima of these Shastras, their presence, their availability, their utility, their blessing, if we can little bit also understand, accept, our these efforts are fruitful. I wish and pray to the divinity in all forms that in this way, slowly, steadily, our understanding of the Shastras grow, our willingness to do the sadhana should grow, and our conveniences, outer and inner, should become more and more. And using all that, truly we are celebrating our life because of our every moment's conscious, convinced, committed sadhana. मस्त जिंदगी ऐसे जिए क्या देख लो भाई. Let us see in this fifth level, then Brahmanda level and Bhumi level, Niyati. And within that Bhumi, of all the living beings, among them the human beings who are given inside the Purushartha Samarthyas, outside the conveniences, inside talents and abilities and freedoms. For him also the Niyati. And what is the niyati if you want to understand in a simple known language? Jaisi karni, vaisi bharni. Bas. But become serious about simply looking kahavat or that saying. Jaisi karni, vaisi bharni should not be just like that said as a sentence for a sentimental emotional expression. No. It has to be, perhaps if you ask, if something has to be taken very seriously among the kahavats, this one is the serious most. Oh, think about it. So, the topic under discussion even within this is the niyati of the Manushya in the Kali Yuga. First niyati, Sausal jiyenge. Second niyati, that Sausal exactly 100%. If you follow what Shastra said. Little better than that if you do more than 100 years. compromise with what is to be done, less than 100 years. This is the second niyati. Third niyati, against Shastras if we do, live life. One is not doing dharma, second is doing a dharma. Then, depending on what we do and all, Bala Mrityu, Yuva Mrityu, Madhyamavastha Mrityu will happen. This is grossly said. Details are the way the Mrityu happens. See that Venezuela, that earthquake. We are seeing it only. Media is so fast that anything happening anywhere in the universe we come to. In the whole earth we know it. Earlier भी ऐसा बोलते थे, but हमें ज़्यादा नहीं पता होता था. Now to every detail you know it. But happening. That is the niyati one way. Yes, still our government has sent so much of relief material. And we have already prayed yesterday, today. Now also you can feel in the mind that there should be relief to all those beings who have lost the people, near and dear ones. Quickly they should accept it and their life should be normalized soon. And the departed ones should be blessed by the divine. ये तो कर ही लिया हमने. So the niyati. है ना? In that again told three people broadly. Murkha, Dharanabhyasi, then Yuktiman. Dharanabhyasi alone later on becomes a Yuktiman. That Dharanabhyasi includes a jap ishta, jap karne wala, a puja karne wala, bhajan kirtan karne wala, but with full dharana, full concentration. And those devatas towards whom he is doing that, their blessings come to him. Through that dharana of all these sadhanas, when he approaches Guru, Guru will teach him all the margas. The Punaravartana marga, then Uttamaloka Prapti and Punaravartana marga, then Apunaravartana Urdha marga, and from here only the realization marga. All these details from tomorrow for 2-3 days in Chandogya Upanishad, introductory Bhashya, Samad Bhashya we are going to study. When these are heard, that Yuktiman, the Dharana Abhyasi, now with the knowledge gained, becomes so Yukta, steadfast. Anyway, has got the background of Dharana Shakti. With that knowledge gained, focusing, he can just, in the very life, detach and realize the Atma Vastu, or through his Yoga Shakti, rise above this Sharira while living only, go to different lokas and come like the Ativahika, or by his choice, one, he can leave the Sharira through any of the expressions, basically through this Sahasrara, he can go into his own choice of lokas. They are the higher possibilities. But before inspiring us towards that, all that which is holding us, that lower life, about that it has to be told. Therefore, about the Murkha, more details are given. What is Murkha is explained. Then with that Murkhata, when is living life, at the time of the death, after the death, what happens to him, all these are told. These are in addition to what we have studied in other Shastras about the Jiva Gati, Dushta Jiva Gati, the Papa Jiva Gati. Now these are all like a shop में सारे हमारे सामने रखे हैं. Now you pay the money and get what you want. So too, these are how the Murkhata, the Dharanata and the Yuktata. Three possibilities are there. With the same inner ability capacities and outer resource, outer opportunities. अब तुम चुन लो, अब तुम करते जाओ, अब तुम्हें मिलेगा. That portion is going on in our study. In that also, how even the prana apana starts, you know, losing its control over senses and all. These are the out of 20-30 things. What happens to that mrutagrasta vyakti or mumurshu कहते हैं यहाँ. These are explained to us. Now, as I was telling, if you are so interested in studying Shastra, this Shastra particularly, and bring all our faculties single pointed and learn all these things. Oh, Bapre, इतना दिमाग हमारा तेज हो जाता है. We now understand what's the whole drama it's going on. We also know what not to do, what to do. What more we want than this? This is how, by giving us the knowledge about the higher and lower, truth and untruth, the Shastras and Sadgurus guide us. That is what is their guidance, their blessing, their contribution in our lives evolution. They won't give us money. They won't give us the other siddhis. No, no, they're all binding. The devatas will give them when you do their upasana. They are meant for that. Lot of things. Then I'll cut it short. Come here. Now we have seen up to the mantra, maybe 58 or 60. Let us start all that. Spend 3-4 minutes to gather the mind through these parayanas. Om 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 Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsharashibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyah. Om Yairime Gurubhi Purvam Padavakya Brahmanadah Vyakyatah Sarva Vedantaः Satchastraः Tan Nityam Pranatosmyaham. Om Sri Rama Rama Ramete Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattuliyam Ramanama Varanane. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatetam Gaganasadrusham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatetam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tannamami Parabrahmane Shruti Matre समस्त ब्रह्म भक्ति योग धर्म विद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. श्रीरामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे वसिष्ठादि ऋषिभ्यो नमः. संकल्पः तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषद योग वासिष्ठ महारामायणोक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यबोधेन अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्ष कैवल्य प्राप्त्यर्थं श्रुति स्मृति पुराणेतिहास संतवाङ्मयोक्त साध्य साधनानुभव सिद्ध्यर्थं तत्रोक्त ऋषिमुनिगुरुदेवता दर्शनानुग्रहानुभव प्राप्त्यर्थं सनातन धर्मस्य विश्वव्याप्ति विश्व आध्यात्मिक प्रगत्यर्थं धर्म संस्थापकानां नित्य निरंतर दिग्विजयार्थं श्रीराम मंदिरवत् शिवकृष्णादि मंदिरादीनां पुनर्वाप्ति तेषु निरंतर शास्त्र अध्ययनादीनां द्वारा भारतवर्षस्य सनातन धर्मस्य बाह्याभ्यंतर शत्रु विघ्न शाश्वत समूल निर्मूलन पूर्वक भारतवर्षे विश्वे च तस्मात् क्षणादारभ्य वैदिक हैंदव संस्कृतेः धर्ममोक्षपुरुषार्थानां सुसंप्रतिष्ठावाप्त्यर्थम् अस्यां कक्षायाम् आगतानां सङ्कल्पितसत्कर्मसु दिग्विजयः तेषां हृदये परब्रह्मादीनां प्रतिभक्त्यादीनां द्वारा जन्मसाफल्यार्थम् अनेक शास्त्राणाम् अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्नमध्ये श्री वाल्मीकि महर्षि विरचित श्रीराम वशिष्ठ संवाद रूप श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण स्मृति मोक्ष प्रकरण शास्त्रस्य पारायणम् अध्ययनं साधना प्रयत्नं मोक्षार्थं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे. मंगलाचरण श्लोकाः. ओम यत सर्वाणि भूतानि प्रतिभान्ति स्थितानि च यत्रैवोपशमं यान्ति तस्मै सत्यात्मने नमः. ज्ञाता ज्ञानं तथा ज्ञेयं द्रष्टा दर्शनदृश्यवोः कर्ता हेतुः क्रिया यस्मात् तस्मै ज्ञप्त्यात्मने नमः. स्फुरन्ति सीकरा यस्मादानन्दस्याम्बरेवनौ सर्वेषां जीवनं तस्मै ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः. दिवि भूमौ तथाकाशे बहिरन्तश्च मे विभुः यो विभात्यो भासात्मा तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः. सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तमेकमजरं नित्यं विभुं शाश्वतं प्रत्यग्ब्रह्मरसायनं सुखगनं पूर्णं परं पावनं स्वात्मज्योतिरनादिमध्यनिधनं मायाविलासैर्मुहुः विश्वाकारमपास्तमायमभयं वन्दे विशुद्धं पदं. ज्ञानादेवात्मनो मोक्षः न तु कर्मसमाधिभिः अज्ञातोऽसौ स्वसदृश्यं सृजत्येवेति कीर्त्यते. तस्मै श्रीगुरवे वसिष्ठमुनये नित्यं नमस्कुर्महे. विश्वामित्रमुनिं शरण्यमनघं भूयो नमस्याम्यहम्. तस्मै वाल्मीकये श्रीगुरुतमगुरवे भूरिभावैर्नताः स्मः. पूर्णानन्दस्वभावः स्वजनहितकृते माययोपात्तकायः कारुण्यादुद्दिदीर्षुर्जनमनवरतं मोहपङ्के निमग्नम् आविश्यान्तर्वसिष्ठं भैरविकलयन् शिष्यभावं वितेने यः संवादेन शास्त्रामृतजलधिममुं Ramachandram Pramadye. Om Sri Ramachandra Parabrahmane Namaha. Sri Vaashishtha Rishibhyo Namaha. Sri Yoga Vaashishtha Maha Ramayana Shastram. Tritiya Utpatthi Prakaranam Leelopakhyanam Niyati Varanam Marana Varanam Nama Chatuppanchashattama Sargaha. Sri Vaashishtha Uvacha. Sri Devi Uvacha. See this beautiful, subtle thoughts. We'll try to present. Let us see how much we succeed in presenting. You to try to be present physically, mentally, and allow this to enter into. It's the thought I am starting straight away from Attavanma Shlok. You know? Yeah. Mm. So, Leela's Prashna. Vyatham vimoham murchantam brahmam vyadhim acetanam kimartamayayati deho yashtangavanapi. He hatta gatta deha with his ashtangas should keep on living continuously. Why it goes through all these modifications, including death? Vyatha, the dukkha at the body level, mind level, vimoham, delusion at the mind level. Then murcha, that semi-consciousness, unconsciousness, all of that. Antam, finally dying. Then brahmam, after the death, going from one world to the other. Vyadhim, then samsara vyadhi, mano vyadhi, and sharira vyadhi. And achetana, unconsciousness or not aware about all these things. काय को किमर्थमय मायाति देहो ही अष्टांगवानपि. ये सब क्यों हो रहा है? देवी उवाच. Mother started saying, एवं सम विहितं कर्म सर्गादौ स्पंद संविदा यद यस्मिन् समये दुःखं कालेन इतावता ईदृशम. Is very complete, very sublime, very big thought. Yesterday we discussed. There is a pure samvit, Paramatma Tattva. Spanda samvit is the Paramatma Tattva with his Maya Shakti, giving chavi to that Maya Shakti, then that Shakti is Spandita. Okay, with the Spandana of that Shakti, Mayaka, even science says now everything is energy in motion. All this is projected. In that projection, among many things, one is Jiva. Jiva is something special is given, some Swatantrata, because of his purity of his ahamvritti, etc. In that Swatantrata, he can become Jnata, he can become uh, Karta, Jnata, then Ichha Karta, then Karma Karta and Bhokta. Remember this throughout life. The other day also we shared. You can repeat also. Bolo Janati, Janati, Ichhati, Ichhati, Karoti, Karoti, Bhungte, Bhungte. बॉस जानाति जानता है, इच्छति डिजायर करता है, करोति करता है, भुंगते भोगता है. These capacities are there in this jiva. Be attentive. These capacities are there, but not necessary that they have to be used. Point one. Point two. Among these four capacities, the first is main, janati. If this janati capacity, jnana shakti technically called, if we misuse it for knowing the world, है ना, ज्ञान शक्ति से जगत को जानोगे, then इच्छति करोति भुंगते, that samsara becomes inevitable. But same jnana shakti, if it is utilized to know the reality being me, it is not other than me, it is infinite, it is blissful. Therefore, that knowing becomes being one thing in which there is infinitude, liberation, bliss. The second, third, fourth thing of इच्छा and karma and phala, ये नहीं होगा उधर. इच्छति करोति भुंगते are not required there. When you know the world, there is sense of difference. Then the limitation. Then I want the world desire. Then we do something. Then something definitely will come and we enjoy it. Sukha or dukkha. Then we are in a vicious circle of delusion. इसी को कहते हैं. But same janati, when we utilize the jnana shakti for knowing the reality, first thing happens is we realize ourselves to be that reality. Second is that reality being infinite, blissful. Nothing is lacking. Therefore, only Individuality where there is apurnata, there is ichha for the purnata. Then only something or the other he does do that, fulfill that ichha of purnata. Then he gets one or the other outer results. But already when I recognize myself to be purna, that three will not be there. So now see, understand the whole thing. Ichhati karoti bhunkte samsara. Desires, acts, and gets the result. The cause of all that is janati. Janati what? Something other than myself. The delusion is what here? The something other than myself will always be there for me to know till I realize the reality. That is what the next 7-8 slokas, very deep topic. So if the self is known, there is nothing other than it, isn't it? Then Ichchati will not come. Everything is then Sarvami etat Brahma, I am Atma Brahma. Sab Brahma hai, Brahma mein hu. Then I don't have desire for myself, no? Especially when I am infinite. And there is nothing other than me to desire. So I am Apurna, there is something other than me. These are the two things cause of desire and samsara. This is out of ignorance only. What is jnanam? There is nothing other than me and such me is Purna. That's the meaning of Purnamadaha, Purnamidam. Pura nahi padunga then. You think the class is over. So that is the meaning of that slok. Explained? Evam samvihitam karma sargado spanda samvida. In the first of the creation, through that spanda samvita, this way the jiva came and he has started doing karma. Because of this karma, yad yasmin samaye dukkham kalena etavata indush. As a phala, what time the dukkha has to come, that dukkha will come. Now, this being Vedanta, this being subtlest Vedanta, to your question, but why dukkha? Only sukha also comes, no, you may cry. But in Vedanta, in the world, there is no sukha. Even the sukha which you go through is only a pause between two dukkhas. है ना, जैसे बकरी को बलि चढ़ाने से पहले खूब खिलाते हैं उसको. That is the only thing. There is no sukha in the world. Behind that, there is again lot of fear is there, insecurity is there. What do you say it's a purna sukha? किसी को नहीं होता. Like a diabetic patient, पूरा मिठाइयाँ वहाँ रखा है. Even is this much also he cannot enjoy because his fear कि बढ़ेगा करके. Then do you say there is a sukha? There may be a tickling of senses called as pleasure, but inside the mind, more than the temporary sukha, there is a dukkha only. And as per technical definition, dukkha mishrita sukha is not sukha only. Dukkha raita sukha only real sukha. And that is never there in the world. Only in the Brahma sukha it is there. These things we have to again and again listen, contemplate on them, see the reality of them, get intellectually convinced, then take that as the goal, then work towards that. To tell all these only all these shastras and gurus, ये सब करके उनको क्या मिल रहा है? Only one trupti. That if we do and achieve it, one jiva got liberated. More than that, other than that, they want nothing from us. They don't have the commissions, the concessions or the partnerships in between. ऐसा कोई है ही नहीं उनको. ऐसा नहीं होता अच्छा तुम्हारे कारण कितने शिष्य मुक्त हो गए, 100 मुक्त हो गए, चलो तुमको ज्यादा कमीशन मिलेगा. They are not commission agents. They are agents with a mission, without any commission. Then mast लगा ये श्लोक तो 57-58. See how we said no janate and ichchati. So ichchati is like this. Syan me ityeva samvishya gulmavatat swabhavajam veti chitta vijrumbhotam nanyadatrasti karanam. These are all the hints given. समझदार को इशारा काफी. Naturally, the one who has studied the Vairagya Prakarana, Moksha Vihara Prakarana, and in the Utpatthi Prakarana 50 chapters, the Vaashishtha ji and Valmiki ji and Mother Saraswati, they imagine that we have become wise enough. Because itna pada, so that only hint is given, we catch it. Like लक्ष्मण जी को इशारा किया राम जी ने, बस वो जाके नाक कान काट दिया शूर्पणखा का. उनको बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. Exactly what is to be cut. Through the nose. Nose cutting is because all vasanas are in the nose. Kan is cut because through the ears only all those vasanas enter. All the wrong listenings enter. That is why वो दोनों काट दिया उन्होंने. Anyway, very indicative. See, this is a thought. स्यात में इति बस मैं स्यात मुझे वो चाहिए ये चाहिए. See that three classes. This one here it is said. In Mandukya also, yasya kasya cha dharmasya grahena bhagavanaso. And in the morning class Upanishad also Shanti Mantra, Maham Brahma Nirakuryam. Means, let me not reject Brahman, means let me accept Brahman. Let me not accept the world, let me reject the world. Same thing. The opposite of it. Syat me iti. Once you think anything other than Brahma is existing and it is real and it gives sukha and I want it. है ना? That is astitva, that it is there. Satyatva, it is real. Samachittatva, it is a giver of sukha. Sukha. Therefore, I want it. मैं स्यात् मुझे चाहिए. इतना बस स्यान में इत्येवा. With this much thought that let it be mine. With this much, what happens, Samvishya gulmava tat swabhavajam. है ना? Like there is some object you want to get it in a ghana jungle, maybe a fruit or something. In the pursuit of trying to get it, en route, so many of the creepers, etc., you are caught in it. For the sake of that fruit, you go. In the same way, something I want, the moment you think, the very vicious mesh of the so many things you enter into it. In this way, once I desire, and I want it and I decide it. And once I go for it, listen, Veti Chitta Vijrumba Uttam. He enters into the Chitta Vijrumbata or gives chance to his Chitta to do so much with Vijrumbana that in that web he gets caught up. That is the cause of all his dukkha. There is no other cause. The same thing in Gita language. Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsa Sangaste Shubhajayat. Same thing here. Or sankalpa pravan kaman tyaktva. That's the solution. The first one is a problem. Any example, even minute example you take, one simple thought, okay, I want tea. Doesn't look to be a very big thought. But see with that syatme thought, how much of the chitta vijrumbana happens. And in a vicious gulmalata of the thought wave, we get lost. In that, first we forget the Paramatma Tattva. Second one, that desire fulfilled, there is misery. Not fulfilled, also there is misery. No need. Do we need to explain this, which we have discussed so many times? दिन ही चाय कहाँ से मंगाना है यार, कौन बनाते हैं या मैं ही बनाऊं, तो उसके लिए चीजें है कि नहीं. देन ढूंढो एक एक चीज को, एक कम है फिर उसको ले आओ जा करके, फिर उसको बनाओ, और ज्यादा बना या कम बना या ठीक बना या नहीं बना. अब बनने के बाद वाइल पुटिंग इन द कप हाथ से फिसल गया. How many possibilities are there? Every day one thing happens, not same thing every day. So this is called as Veti Chitta Vijrumba Uttam. These are all nothing but the secondary thoughts after the primary thought that I want that. Imagine the opposite of it, like about the coffee. That you never have a desire also. Then the tension of coffee or दूसरे सो वो है ही नहीं आपके मन में. In this way, with that Janati Shakti misused, we do the Ichchati, Karoti, therefore we are Bhungte. The most important thing in this shloka is Na Anyad Atra Asti Karanam. For a Jiva to get lost in this type of dukkha, as said in the above 20-25 examples, there is no other reason than his own Syat Me Iti Eva. मैं स्याद मैं मीन्स मुझे स्याद मीन मुझे वो मिल जाए मीन्स मुझे वो चाहिए इज इक्वल टू द डिजायर. See these two things or two, three things. One, no, nothing of the desire for the world is there, Manu. Imagine that state of mind. Zero agitation. And with the live mind, there is another desire that I want to realize this. है ना? and you have really known the technique and realized it. Purnata. That is why through the Atma Kamana, give up all the Kamanas. By fulfilling the Atma Kamana by Atma Apti, then become Aptakami. Means with the desire of the self, rise above all the desires. By fulfilling the desire of the self, realizing its infinitude, go beyond all samsara. वाह, these are all the deepest things. Freely फुकट में हमको मिल रहे हैं. That is why we don't value them. We are in that childlike mentality or immature. पता नहीं मुझे आप तो महान ज्ञानी हो ही कब ऐसी परिपक्वता आएगी जिसमें इन सेंटेंसेस को इतना वैल्यू देकर remain in that status and mode only always. Okay, then the subsequent slokas were talking about how as the karma phala comes to us, especially the powerful one, that we have to leave the sharira, etc. Not by our choice like the dharana, abhyasi and yukta, but out of compulsion. है ना? डंडा मार के जब हमको भगाते हैं शरीर से. How it happens, you see? यदा व्यथावशातु नाड्यः स्वसंकोच विकासनैः गृह्णन्ति मारुतः देहे तदा उज्जति निजाम स्थितिम्. So, yada, when, vyathavashatu, okay, the psychological pain of desire not fulfilled or any of the desired things not have happened. When that vyatha happens in the mind, nadyaha, the nervous system, the neurosystem, all the including all the inner physiological functions, let us say, they become abnormal. That happens anytime when we are mentally off mood. And when we are mood off at the mental level, you won't feel hungry. Your food is not digested. That's what I said here. At the old age में तो ज़्यादा होता है ना? The fear of death also approaches. Some of the friends already have gone away and you have seen them also जाकर. ये सारे मिलकर, and the other way of the bodily pains, and people don't listen to you, and those people who loved you so far till you have written the will, once the will is written, nobody is willing to be with you. This type of पीड़ा व्यथास they come. Then what happens is the नाड़ियों का सबका काम थोड़ा ढीला ढाला होता हुआ प्राण शक्ति का आवाजाही अब नॉर्मल हो जाता. That is the beginning. Once it happens, so then food intake and the digestion of it, circulation of it, all of that becomes abnormal. So that is the meaning of yatha, यथा व्यथावशात् नाड्यः ससंकोच विकासनैः गृह्णन्ति मारुतो देहे तदा उज्जति निजाम स्थितिम्. So beautiful state of all physiological functions happening well is disturbed. Then what happens के बाद प्रविष्टा न विनिर्यांते गताः संप्रविशन्ति नो यदा वाता विनाडीत्वात् तदा स्पन्दात् स्मृतिर्भवेत्. So at the next level में कि the vayu either not fully entering into the nadis or not fully coming out. Because of this, slowly the nadis become weaker and weaker. Because of which, when the neuro system becomes weaker because of the lack of the vayu entering, oxygen, etc., in a scientific language, through the nadi spandana only, all our indriyas are working, no? So those indriyas also stop becoming weakened too. So slowly, because of the indriyas weakening, even the mind also, which is the owner of all of them, it also धीरे धीरे अपना कैपेसिटी को खोता रहता है. So the digestion shakti is gone, indriya shakti is gone, mana shakti also is gone. Means what? The mother Saraswati are telling our Vaashishtha how introverted they are, how conscious they are to know what exactly happens in a jiva sthula sukshma shariro. ये महायोग धारणा शक्ति that they knew it. All our rishis of the past, they were not having these many worldly distractions. Israel life long ago, everybody competing with each other as if used to do those dharana abhyasa practices. Then all of the yogis, to such an extent that they can even predict the worldly future, भूकंप आएगा they know it, सुनामी आएगा they know it, आउटसाइड आजकल इतने टेक्नोलॉजी से भी वो आकर अटैक करने के बाद ही पता चलता है. They know it in advance. So many stories, then what to tell. So the idea is this way, all of those things become big. और then final यहाँ stroke लगता है कि आगंतव्यो सी न विशत्येव वातो न निर्याति भवनो यदा शरीर नाड़ी वैदुर्यात मृत इत्युच्यते तदा. इस तरह से धीरे धीरे आता जाता हुआ सडनली वन मोमेंट भीतर का वायु भीतर, बाहर नहीं जा रहा, बाहर का वायु बाहर, भीतर नहीं जा रहा. So that is the time that the jiva left this body called as the mrityu. At that time, what happened? All was already told 20 things. उनमें से एक आध बच गया तो शरीर छोड़ने के बाद okay. And in this happening, कि how one leaves body and one leaves body, in both of them, be careful. Listen carefully. आगंतव्यो मया नाशः काले नैतावतेति या पूर्व संविदिता संवित पूर्य संविदिता संवित या याति तच्चोदिता मृतिम. So already earlier only we have the early life samskaras, sankalpas. Ki this long I have to live, and at this time I have to leave the body, and in this way I have to live it. In that way, the niyati is set in him earlier because of his karma. That is how he leaves the body. And along with him leaving, his that niyati gets ended. O wala particular. So that means what? What time I am going to die, where I will die. Already my karmas, whatever I have done, known or unknownly, have made it as a niyati, and that's going to happen exactly. And all of that set gets exhausted of this life once I leave this sharira. But the remaining things continue, which command me to enter into the next body and eke out all my niyatis, inevitabilities. Niyati means inevitable. Okay. Then, while this is happening, the remaining residue of things that will continue go with him. So, to remember, in that Paramatma Shakti, always a Jiva, again taking the Paramatma Shakti Maya as his own avidya, again and again seeing the world as other than him, and desiring for it, etc., and creating samsara, that continues. So ईदृशेन मया इह इत्थं भाव्यमिति आदि सर्गजा संविद बीज कलानाशम न कदाचन गच्छति. See, in his consciousness, as long as these samskaras are there, so long he will again will do the sankalpa and the karma and gets these results. Only in one case, be attentive. When he realizes essential self, then totally the ignorance, the samskaras, then the sankalpa, all of them get eliminated, avoiding the samsara only in the knowing of the self. Till that time, the mrityu is only one station. We leave only this body and these circumstances only to continue such similar statuses. This is how the guidance is there. 7, 8 more mantras are there. Each one of them are mind blowing. I will take 1 or 2 days more, I think, to do this one. Only 8 more mantras are there. Kalvatova, like 1 more day. But some informations are coming to us. एक चीज तो पकड़ के जाओ, नियति. Niyati is inevitability. And one of the most positivity in the Niyati is what? If you try for Adhyatmika Jnana and Moksha, a part of the Niyati is by realizing the self, we get liberated also from bondage. Use that Niyati. So to sadhana, one gets moksha is one niyati. With punya and satkarma, one gets the higher world is second niyati. With papa, he will go to the narakadi and nicha yoni, that is the third niyati. Fourth is the punya papa samarupena, he will come back to the earth, that is the fourth. This is all tomorrow within 12 hours again we are going to study when we start our Chandogya Upanishad Sambandha Bhashya. ये सब बातें आज शुरू में आ जाते. ओके फ्रेंड्स, टुडे विल स्टॉप. ओम पूर्णमदः. बोल श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. धन्यवाद. थैंक यू फॉर योर पेशेंस.